Hello everyone, my name's Ed Edwards. I'm Bob and Kona Edwards' grandson. This is my grandparents. They started Edwards Studio in Clayton, Georgia in 1929 and kept it open until 1997. And I grew up in their photography shop, mainly behind this door here in the darkroom, printing pictures most of my time. I learned photography at the age of 7. I started working in the darkroom by the time I was 10. I took over and started doing all the printing of all the historical photographs. Well, not all of them, only a handful of them actually. Back in the 70s and 80s, when I was first starting in the studio with my grandparents, my grandfather turned over the historical business to me and taught me how to print the pictures and showed me how to do all kinds of different things with them, along with the history of them. So I grew up learning the history of all the pictures and stuff that he and my grandmother shot in their lifetime up on Main Street in Clayton, Georgia. So I want to give you just a quick little tour of what's in the shop that I'm spreading out, archiving, and digitizing. Back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, I got into Grandpa's chests or cases that had the old negatives in them. The ones from years past that he had shot and forgotten about. Well, I'm still finding negatives today, even 10, 15 years later. In the neighborhood of around 7,000, maybe 8,000 different negatives, color slides, and 10 to 12 hours of movies that him and grandmother shot while they did their lives around Rabun County. So let me give you a quick little tour of the shop. I've got some things that I want to show everybody because I've got stuff here that belongs to basically families of people that did business with my grandparents that I sure would like to give back to you. I have no use for them, but let me show you what's in the shop for right now. So like I said, this was my grandparents. That was in the photography studio up on North Main Street, straight across the street from U-Joint. And all. You can see all the different little cameras and all. I hung out in here, grew up in here, and then the dark room was right back over in here to the right. Well, Grandpa had just tons and tons of old cameras. He collected, sold cameras, and I've got every kind they ever did have. There's just cameras everywhere, boxed up in here. I've still got to unpack them. I've got them just tons of old cameras. Boxes of camera gear. Start out then I got movie equipment, running the old movies. That was something him and Grandma liked. They did a lot of old movies. And got these old different projectors. They all still work real good. Here's the different projectors here. And I kept wondering over at the house why Grandpa kept this Kodascope. Big one here with super wide film. Well, I never did know it until just a few years ago, but he had a huge collection of just old movies and stuff that him and Grandma had made. So before we get to them, let me show you some of the pictures. I mean, you've seen a lot of these in the Tribune and different places. Well, I'm going to show you the originals to all them. I've got the original negatives to every picture historically that my grandfather ever shot. They're all being archived as we speak. I'm digitizing everything so that they can be presented in a much more timely, easier fashion than going through at it with the old-fashioned way. So let me just move around here a little bit. And we'll go back here into the back area and show you where all the real work's going on. Okay. Well, this is the back of my shop. And I'm just in the process right now of archiving even several thousand more pictures. Just for example here, this is Rabun County High School pictures. These are like from the 60s, the 70s, the basketball, the football players, and all the graduation classes, all the different graduation. Grandpa shot 50 years of pictures at the different high schools in Rabun County. and all. And then we got the Harvest Queen and the Mountaineer Festival. We just got all kinds of pictures of the Mountaineer Festivals. I haven't even started opening any of these up. Those that you've seen out there were just a tiny handful out of the huge collection that I printed. I literally only got into maybe, 150 negatives that Grandma and Grandpa had shot out of about 7,000 or 8,000 that have never been seen before, never been published or anything. Like I say, each one of these packages here, they contain negatives and all. I mean, 4x5s. Here's the classes and stuff. I've got, it's the originals to everything. I've got the originals to every picture that Grandpa ever shot. The original negatives. So let me get back in order here. That back so we don't get nothing mixed up. All right. Well, like I say, right here just on this one tabletop is close to 2,500 negatives and all. That's never been seen. Parades, Mountaineer Festivals, Harvest Queens, Rabun County Homecoming Queens, 73, 75, 1966. I'm still getting them around. But now, I've been at this for a long time, so I've been putting all these old negatives and stuff into a somewhat working order and stuff. So let me show you a little bit where I've gotten to here. Well, now I've got some into the file cabinets. I've got a 5-door file cabinet, and it's just slap full of negatives. People. I've got just tons of people. Everybody that ever did business with Grandpa, we got them in here. Just tons of them. Tons of them. I've got every name. There's Craig. There's Cook. There's Coleman. Carnes. That's just in the top drawer. Here's the next drawer. We just go right on down the line. There's Dixie Boys. 1965, Dixie Camp staff. I just go on and on and on. I've got them breaking on down. These are a mixture of Grandpa's. Well, Grandpa shot most of them, but they are of people that did business with him back over the years. I still have, a few things that were left over that never did get picked up in the studio. Sure would like to get them back to their rightful owners. I have no use for that kind of stuff. But this stuff in here, this is history. This is archived history. I've got negatives. Each one of these envelopes got 1 to 50 or 100 or more negatives in it, and we print them. I'm in the process of digitizing all these negatives. And it just keeps going. And it keeps going. You got to understand, my grandfather was in business in Clayton for 69 years. And he just shot pictures and 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 more pictures. And that's just kept going. Okay? Well, not along with pictures, but he collected stuff. People bring in history stuff. How many of you like bluegrass music? Well, I got every bluegrass band that ever was around these mountains up in here. I got stuff that never did get labeled that the bands played. I've been, in the old days, I was converting stuff over to VHS tapes. So I got tons of VHS tapes that when VCRs came out, we were converting movies over. So like I say, I've just got tons of movies. Well, there's just a few more glass plate negatives, probably another couple hundred right there. All right, now let's show you what I'm really going after now that I've started working on. Get this around here where I can see. Oh yeah, that's Grandpa in his dark room in 1935, right over there behind Jowers and all. So let me get everything around here where I can work. I'll show you my best part of the collection. That's the funnest part that I'm working on right now. Get it around here where I work. Alright, can you see this stuff? Take a look here. I got The Mountaineer festivals, everything from them, all the different years of the Mountaineer Festival. Grandpa did the photography. There's Fess Parker. That's Fess Parker, what is it, arm wrestling somebody. There's Grandpa. You know, just got tons of pictures of him. Of course, here's Slim Pickens. Grandpa and Slim Pickens were big buddies. Slim even wrote up a nice little thank you letter to my grandpa for teaching him how to do photography. Of course, Grandpa was also big friends with Walt Disney, who all the time liked to hold babies up there for him to photograph. Then Walt and Fess and all of them be up in there talking around. Of course, Fess always had to hold a baby or two, you know, just different things like that. And then, of course, we got the postcard collection. You know, I know you've seen them. Well, I've got about 1,000 of them brand new, never been touched. Here's these postcards. You know, remember the train down there? Nice big train. A whole bunch of these I'm working with. And I've just got boxes after boxes after boxes of pictures. You know, the old Clayton Baptist Church here, with just the brick only. You know, I'm archiving all this. I'm digitizing all this stuff. And stuff. Do y'all remember Morris Penland? Morris Penland used to be with the Sheriff's Department. There he is. Look what he's carrying. Huh. You never can tell. Okay, now here, check this shit out. Oh, I shouldn't say that online. Look at all the movies and stuff. Like I said, whoops, let me get this tangled up here. Whoa, 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 whoa. Here we go. Let me get this name down here where this will work right and see if I can explain some of this. Because I haven't even scratched the surface here. Right here's well, let's show you first. Right here, this is one of Grandpa's most favorite cameras. He used this one here. This is a 4x5 speed graphic. I've got 5 of these cameras that he used in his lifetime. They made negatives that are 4x5 inches. So if I just pull one out, we'll see if we can see what that is. No, that we can't tell, but if I go in over here, pull something out of the Clayton one. Here's one we recognize. Recognize that place? That looks like the old Chevrolet place, which is now the soda fountain shop uptown. This is an original negative. This is what the originals look like to every photograph that my grandfather made. They're on plastic, and they show a lot more detail than what we ever print. When Grandpa taught me well, when I'm printing, he said only print part of the negative, and that's what I did. All the pictures you've seen in the paper and all over the place are just parts of the negatives. So let's get back around here and look a little more over this here. So I've got just tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons again of negatives. 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 I've got books of negatives. This is stuff Grandpa had shot over the years. Then I've got stuff that he collected also. But here's the neat stuff. These canisters right here. You know what? These canisters contain old-fashioned movie film. They stink. They stink because they stink. But it's that wide film for those movie projectors I've got in the front up there. Well, looky there. So I've got all these wide films right here. See that wide film? That's film. That's I guess that's what they call. Is that the Super 8 or is that something else? That's a bigger format. Anyhow, I've got the projectors that run it. I see why Grandpa had it. So I have got, each one of these reels is about 15 minutes worth of movies on them. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I got about 60 reels of these movies here yet. So I've got to digitize these. That's what I do. I'm in the process of digitizing these old movies that Grandma and Grandpa shot around here. So they will be part of the Edwards Studio Historical Photo Museum that I'm putting together in here. Let me put this back together. I'll show you a little bit more. But we're just going to have the most awesomeness historical video photograph museum anywhere in the United States, right here in Clayton, Georgia. I'll have the originals for everything in here. But that's it. It's in a museum now. This is Bob Edwards Historical Museum. So everything now will stay in the museum. I'll rig it up. I'm going to digitize it. I'll have it where people can come see it. I do want to get the old stuff that belongs to people back to them. I have no use for them. But then, oh God, check this out. I never forgot. All these slides right here. All these slides of the Tallulah Falls Railroad. Color slides. And of Clayton, just all over the place. Let's see if that'll work around there. No, I can't see it like that. I'll have to show them to you when I digitize them. And I even found about 500, get this, 500 stereo slides. Stereo slides that Grandpa shot around here. Don't know why, but right here they are. See these things? These are stereo slides. They go in this very special projector. But what did he shoot it of? He shot it of the Tallulah Falls Railroad, the train, and different things like that. So I got these 3D slides that as soon as I can get a projector system up, we're going to put them up where I can digitize them and present them in 3D form. Okay, now then. How many of y'all went to school around here? Well, let me show you a couple. Here's some originals. That's just an old picture. There's just some old people and stuff. You ever heard of the Sheffield store? I've got the original of the old Sheffield store. I think that was the Wall House original. Somebody's classroom. I know you've seen this one. Right here is the original picture to the courthouse. The one with the old metal railing around it. This is the original to it. And here's old Barron's Playhouse up there in Mountain City. Got colorized. And then the old bridge down in Lake Burton. Ramey's store. Here's one I don't know if people seen much of, but here's the original for one of the TF train wrecks. Down there. I think this is down below Tallulah Falls. And here's more school kids. And then I got baseball teams. This is the old baseball team, I guess, from way back. Tiger or somewhere. Neat thing about it, Grandpa was smart. He got the names on the back of each of his pictures, you know, so we could know who these people are. Oh, yeah. How many of y'all like these old boys? Here was a band around here. Alvin Carnes, Boris Carnes. I don't know who the rest of them were. Okay, remember the old football players? You know, that's the old football field. That thing looking pretty rough down there. That's Black Rock Mountain up there. The Grandpa shot all these boys there in their famous gear and everything. Got their pictures. There's without a face mask and all. Boris Keener. Okay, there's Boris Keener on that one. See who that is? Horace Ramey. Anybody know Horace Ramey? There's old Horace Ramey. Let's see there. Looks like a mean one. Joe Blaylock. I wonder who knew Joe Blaylock. I got Joe's picture right there. And it just keeps going. That looks mean enough there. That's Delmo Patterson. No, that ain't Delmo. This is Dayton Clark. And that one's Delmo. There's old Delmo Patterson. You know, that's down at the old high school. And it just goes on. I got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of the old football players, basketball players. There's Lewis Reeves. Y'all know Lewis Reeves up at Reeves Hardware? Well, that's what Lewis looked like when he played football down at Raven County High School. You know? Looked pretty tough there. Let's see who's that. Earl Smith and Jimmy Hines. Remember Jimmy Hines? There's Jimmy Hines. Okay. Well, there's some of the girls that played basketball. Grandpa shot all them too. There we go. I recognize him again. That's Jimmy Hines again there. He played basketball. He played every sport, I guess, up there. But like I say, I've just got tons and tons. We got football players, football, basketball, all kinds of stuff. Basketball teams and all. Got your basketball teams. I got your football teams. I got everything. We got names. That's the neat thing. I got names on a lot of them. That's something you won't find over here at the local place. You know? Here's one. Let's see who's this here. Can't read that. I'm going to need glasses. Anyhow, but there's somebody. That looks familiar. Who's that one, say? Can't read it. Well, we'll figure it out, but I got the names on them. Then I've got other pictures. I know where that goes, but here's a numbered thing of people that went to 8th grade, 1949. And I think this was the Lakemont thing. So there's Paula Thompson, Jimmy Cohan, Howard Morgan, Clodagh Hill, Earl Dotson, Ivester something. I ain't got my glasses on. But anyhow, you get the message. Okay, now here's a neat thing I found. Here was an interview done in August 12th of 1996, just before Grandpa closed down, but here's a complete thing of the history of all the different types of photography and everything my grandfather did. You know, he made pictures back in his day for the old Red Baron and all the Camp Blue Ridge and all kinds of things. And I get messed up here. So let me get you just a little bit more here. But I've got all these histories, full histories of what's going on. You know, I got tons and tons and tons of pictures. You know, we got all kinds of pictures, the different ones here with the Great Locomotive Chase, or the filming of it, the slides, the movies, and all that. And we just goes on and on and on and on. And I've still got 8 more boxes of stuff to bring over here to get worked up. And, oh, whoa. Get here straightened out. Anyhow, in my lab, I've got the equipment in here to digitize anything I want to do. I can take negatives and put negatives onto glass plate scanners and scan them into positives. So I'm converting all these old negatives into positives and digitizing them. And here's just a little sample. I'll give you a little sample of what Grandma and Grandpa would ride around and shoot. This is just around town. See if this will work a little better. Get it right there. Pull it in. That's just, this will be just a little sample. I mean, Grandma and Grandpa would get out and ride around and make movies. That's so neat. That's 76. Right here, 76 coming down. You can't see it. Duval Ford's right in here. There's Pinnacle Mountain up here. And then there's the railroad trestle. Here's the railroad trestle, Pinnacle Mountain. See, the movies, other movies I've got them showing, you know, trains coming across here. Got movies of them with a train up there and around the depot and everything. Grandpa used to just like to go film the old train coming across through town there. It's so neat to watch. I'll be glad when I get all that digitized. But it just goes on and on. This is just one little sample of the movies. And the movies are really clear. Once I get into them good, they're super clear. Look at that old car there. That's the old Kern. The Baptist Church is right up in there. Or maybe that's the Baptist Church right there. Got a little turned wrong. Yep. And it comes on around. You can see up here toward Black Rock Mountain. This is Grandpa setting up over in Shadyside, filming this one. All right, there's the old high school band. There's the old high school. Just different angles of it. I got films where he just shot and shot. And him and Grandpa would get out in Drag Town. This was the red light. There's Grandma driving her old car right there. Grandpa's shooting it. I guess Grandpa and Grandma coming around through. You know, that's Grandma, of course. They're in their studio right there. The U-joint is right here across the street from them. I wish I had that old building back. I'd have the museum there. But that's Grandma. And I guess that was probably, what, the 40s, 50s, early 50s, somewhere in there. That was what Grandpa looked like. I guess I kind of favor him, they say. Looks like he got more hair in the front than I do, though. I don't know. anyhow, that's an idea. So I've just got all this different stuff in here that will be presented into a museum form. All the negatives and film I'm digitizing, so I will set that up into special formats where it can be viewed on special either computers or big screen TVs that I'll mount up in here. But I'm going to put together one of the most interesting historical photography museums you'll ever know about in the near future. It's all coming together now very slowly. Not slowly, pretty fast. All right. That's just an idea. So y'all have fun. Come see me.